Hello everyone, Desert Wolf here. This is a turn from the Japanese campaign. It's April 6th, 1942. Well, unfortunately, I haven't been able to post in the last few turns because I was very busy, but I can give a quick recap. The Allies are attempting to invade Noumea. There you go, in New Caledonia. They've already taken Nafoa and are focusing their attention on Noumea itself. And what do I have for this turn? Okay, well, let's see what happens in Noumea and this New Caledonia area in general. They're landing more forces. They've been bombarding with battleships and cruisers. Um, and I believe they have carrier support. They tried to cap trap my Bettys. That's where Noumea, but I didn't fall for the trap. And Fiji and New Caledonia are essentially very weakly defended. They're there. I took them to kind of force the Allies to extend their supply lines, their sea maritime supply lines, and I also took them as staging bases for submarines and as essentially speed bumps to slow down the Allies in their counterattack so that they don't attack really important areas first while I'm busy invading India. But I am not particularly happy that they're already on the move and attacking now. So let's see what I can do to slow down the American Navy and the Australians assisting them, and the British as well here as well. So we'll see about that. So that's one area that's where the action is thick. The other area is India, as usual, where I'm staging a very important and risky cap, long range cap over one of my units. I know he likes to bomb it, and of course it's very risky because if he sweeps heavily, sweeps have a very significant advantage over LR cap, and the whole point is, can I take on those fighter losses that I'll inevitably take to shoot down enough bombers to make up for it? So that's the second big thing. And the last thing, I think he might attack it at Clark because I kind of buffed my way. I left a weak division there, thinking he might potentially not see that it's pretty weak. But he bombarded, he saw that it's pretty weak, and I think he might be tempted to attack this turn. So we shall see whether he does, and if he does, whether I'm in trouble there and have to rush back reinforcements to Luzon or not. So sorry, that was the really quick recap. I had to go through there just so you guys know what to expect this turn or potentially expect. I'm also running away from New Hebrides area with some ships that's got caught up. I'm probably going to lose a few tankers there. And yeah, that's going to suck because some of those tankers are valuable. They're not the best replenishment tankers. They're not the 18 to 19 knot speed ones. They're the 13 ones, 13 knots max speed, but they're still very valuable. So that's going to suck to see. I'm pretty sure at least a few of them are going to sink. Okay, so with that, let's go. There, that's the replenishment tankers attempting to escape. Uh, yeah, not looking good. There's the first one. Detroit on the hunt. And they're full of fuel as well. Well, almost full. So it only takes two shots, penetrating shells for them to go up in flames. It's really unfortunate, but it is what it is. I wasn't expecting him to move this quickly. He's done a really good job. And some of these assets that were there to help. Oh, okay, it's escaped, but we'll see how. We'll see if that's last. Some of these ships that were there to support the forward staging of raiders and submarines got caught. What you see here is a Japanese transport, well, cargo ship rather. This is going to sink for sure because during the invasion of Fiji, it's had its back broken on a reef, and so there's no way it's going to survive. It was just there to die eventually anyway. So that's already a sunk cost. I'm not really worried about that one. It's the tankers I'm worried about. The Allies are keeping up the pressure on Noumea. BB Ido swinging into action here. encircled my opponent, has landed a infantry regiment and a Marine Raider battalion, and I believe some artillery supports as well. So it's looking really, really dicey for these meager forces that I left here. It's basically some a quarter strength SNLF companies and such. So and I think a quarter strength Naval Guard battalion. It's extremely weak. It's basically a speed bump, and he's bringing a lot of support here. I am flooding this area with submarines though, so let's see if that does anything. Some pretty big hits here. Interesting, he didn't have close plane spotter support. Okay, keep going on. This is just the usual raid by this Dutch ship. It's been doing that for the last 10 turns. That's the cargo ship that had its back broken, striking a reef during the invasion of Fiji. It was going to go down anyways, but this is what I'm more concerned about in terms of ship losses. I doubt it's going to escape the second time. That would be nice, but I really doubt it. Let's see. It's DL or detection levels have skyrocketed with the first encounter, so it's harder to escape a second time. Yep. I'm afraid the ship is gone. Okay. No need to watch the inevitable here. Let's keep going. Yeah. That's one down. Let's hope the next. Okay, so that's potentially good news. Only one ship so far. Mark 14's missed like they're supposed to. Finally, I have had some bad luck with tankers this game. The direct hit to the Greeny gear that should send it back to the yards. Let's see how many tankers slash replenishment ships I have lost so far. In the campaign, I've lost 3 or 4. Okay, so that's not that bad, but given that I did my entire Empire of the Sun campaign losing just one tiny tanker, it seems like a lot to me. Okay. By the way, for those who don't know, you can find my after-action reports, written after-action reports, in the main Matrix forum of Gary Grigsby's Admiral's edition, or the Pacific Admiral's edition of my previous campaigns. For those who are interested, this is the first. This one and the American one are the first campaigns that I'm actually doing YouTube for. So destroyed the little AP here. I think he was blockade runner to Darwin. I have some very small destroyers. Oh, the Cape Town is here. Interesting. He is very determined to keep that avenue of approach towards Darwin open for the blockade runners. And interestingly, he's risking some. Cape Town is a very good light destroyer, actually. Sorry, light cruiser. So let's see. This is a tiny expendable Japanese destroyers. It's I think either Minikaze class or Kamikaze class. They're the weakest Japanese destroyers. I'm just going to rush through this. I think it's obvious who's going to win, especially since it's the daytime. Probably not going to survive. That's heavy fires, heavy damage. Probably 3 hits with 6-inch. I'm also bringing in some subs into the action here, though. So far it's been not great this turn for me. Oh no, Clark Airfield has cancelled its strike. That's bad news. That means that the defenders at Clark, Japanese besieging forces, are not going to have air support. I also saw that Bombay is. I also saw that Bombay has cancelled its mission because of bad weather, and the whole cap trap is designed to intercept the strikes out of Bombay. So maybe that's a huge cap trap or LR cap that I have. It's not really a trap since he's expecting some kind of opposition and he's sweeping. Maybe that there's not going to be any action there. So we'll maybe in the afternoon, but so far in the morning it's not going to happen. Sweeping just to see what's out there. Heavy bombing of Chungking in preparation for the attack on Chungking, which should happen in about a week's time, I believe. Some solid hits there, 7 supply hits, that's good. Fighters arriving late today. Reorganizing my forces in Pune. He's reinforced with an American division there. He's bringing in forces very quickly into the action in India, which is obviously hampering my advance. So he's checking out that force that I'm moving up from Rush 4, which is switching to becoming my main effort here. Lots of sweeps around the sector. I thought about his potential to sweep here, and I thought about doing a cap trap here, but I figured it's more lucrative over here because the whole point is I'm going to take a big hit with those sweeps. It's inevitable. He's sweeping from short range against long range cap. They have a massive advantage against long range cap. But the idea is I take that hit, I survive with enough fighters to then shoot down enough bombers to make up for the loss of fighters against his sweeps. So that's basically the plan. And it's made worthwhile because I'm LR capping over my own forces, which means my pilots have a much better chance of surviving by falling on friendly lines, while any pilots he loses is very likely either a prisoner of war or dead. So that's the other advantage of doing it that way. Plus, I have to do something to protect my forces from his bombings, and I can definitely afford more airframe losses than he can at this point. So those are some of the calculations that are going on behind the scenes here. The problem is if he just sweeps and does not follow up with bombings, then I am in trouble. But we might not even have any air action this over India because of weather, but we shall see in the afternoon if there's going to be anything there. So more sweeps here. Okay, afternoon phase. Uh-oh. There we go. The problem, of course, is that his aircrafts are much more durable. So Oscars have a harder time shooting them down, but all he has to do is get one hit and my planes are gone, given that they have 12 7.62 4.03 guns. See? Just one hit. In this Hurricane, I think actually on Hurricane 2A, it might just be 8. Yeah, I think it's only 8 and 12 in the B version. Anyway, so yeah, that's the other disadvantage here for in terms of firepower against the Allies. Hurricanes and P-40s and P-39s. Okay, well, that one is probably an up loss that I just did there for him. All right, I'm going to come back and watch this in detail and then have a much better understanding of what's happened so I can perfect my, continue perfecting my air game. Even after all this experience that I have with it, it's always something that I do. But I'm going to speed through here because otherwise we're just going to last forever. And then we'll check the after reports later on. Looks like a decent exchange here, probably around similar numbers of lost airplanes. So not too bad. And I am putting up enough numbers here, and I noticed that I had to dive on him. So this is probably going to be the best effort that I have against his sweeps. The initial sweep, my pilots are rested, or relatively rested, because unfortunately they were already flying in the morning, and there was no action there. So that's one disadvantage. But they're relatively rested. They're going to do well on the first sweep. Second, third, fourth sweeps are going to become incrementally more difficult for my fighters, especially given the pilots are getting tired and they're reducing in numbers. Numbers quantity is a very important aspect of the air game. So these are 2Bs coming in. Fighters already dwindling. All right, I'm going to speed through this again. I'll watch it later on. It just takes way too long to show what's on a YouTube clip. Probably suffered 2-1 losses here in the Allied favor, I'd say. But again, I will have to watch to know better, and we'll check the losses in the intel screen after the action. So if he just sweeps and I don't see any bombers, that's going to be a problem. Because more air corpus this time. Not very good so far. If he just keeps sweeping. All right, so I'm gonna fast forward here. Let me just see what Doiga was able to do here. Yeah, it's a lot of hits are just damage. All right, so they defeat the sweep. I think this one was a bit better, probably more equal, but again, I'm not positive. Okay, so let me explain the altitude here. The idea here is that his sweeps, I know his sweeps are going to come first. He's very good. He knows what he's doing. He's going to make it so that his sweeps come first. So I start off there is no actual nearly as much coordination with LR cap than there is with cap, so you just gotta work with what you have. I start my planes at max altitude because I want them to engage in a dive initially, and as time goes by with each round, they're gonna decrease in altitude. By the time the bombers come, hopefully what's gonna happen is that my fighters are gonna be at extremely low altitude where they would have descended in a spiral of dogfighting with the Allied sweeps. And that's gonna enable them to be at an altitude where they can engage the low-flying bombers. That's the idea behind the setup. Just softening the approach to Lido, well, softening the defenses of Lido as I bring up forces to attack. He's got this 221st Group RAF and a really small portion of the 17th Indian Division there. And he's been flying that Indian Division from Lashio via air transports, which I have damaged here. All right, well, I'm hoping that we are going to see bombers, otherwise I would have just suffered more fighter losses than he, even though my pilots would have many of them would have survived, and his wouldn't. Oh, okay, that's great. That's 18 SPD-2 bombers, dive bombers coming in. Let's see what they face. I've got very good numbers here. Okay, this is good. This is very good. All right, let's see what happens. All right, complete wipeout. All 18 SPD-2 Dauntlesses have been destroyed. All right, that's more than makes up for the imbalance, I believe. At least now we are at least 1-1. Some more bombers. My fighters are weakening in numbers and very tired, likely. So I doubt they're going to press home the attack much. But all right, that's 4 Hudsons knocked out. I think the 12 and 11 Hudsons came in, so that's 4 Hudsons destroyed. See if there's going to be any post action here. Yeah, very little. Just saw some damage to one of the Havocs. Anyway, but that's good. I'll take it. That's another 4 Hudsons knocked out. That's good. Okay, he's just gonna massacre me here because I have very little numbers and my pilots are utterly exhausted at this stage. And he's coming in with a fresh 13 Hurricanes. Let's go through here. Okay, I actually saw a couple of Hurricanes destroyed there. I think he still killed more fighters than I lost, but I'll take it. I'll take some of his destroyed as well. All right, and that's the end of. I don't think I'm gonna have much cap left. If anything, it's gonna be maybe 2 or 3 fighters here. If he comes with any more sweeps or bombers. Okay, he sent the heavies to Bellari, where I was staging a lot of my fighters. I've got some flak there, but not in overwhelming numbers. So hopefully they'll do some ups damage to these B-17s and slow them down a bit, force some repairs. Okay, 2 aircraft destroyed. That's okay. That's one heavy bomber destroyed and some Japanese recon destroyed. I would happily trade 2 recon aircrafts on the ground for a destroyed heavy bomber. But he's coming with more. And it's clear skies over target, so it's ideal for his heavy bombers here. Okay, no Japanese airplanes destroyed. That's good. And some more. Same result. That's good. Are we going to see any more air action here? Nope, that's it. That's a wrap. Okay, that's a cruiser mine layer. Wow. That's good. I think it's going to sink. I'm pretty positive it's going to sink. On fire, heavy damage. Yeah, it sank. I think he's probably was intending to lay mines once he captures Numea. Grenadier still being a pest even though he took direct depth charge hit. Still landing forces here or supply as well. Numea looks like to be in trouble. But I have decent forts there, so hopefully this will slow him down. Okay, so Chungking started heavily bombarding Chungking with my artillery, siege artillery, to soften up the ground, as well as air bombing for the next Japanese attack on the fortified city, where he has packed it to its limits of its stacking limits. You see 4,462 AV. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. But I am confident that eventually it will fall. I'll take this output. It's good. I lost two destroyed vehicles, but this is decent decent damage for a fortified town. Yeah, his forces are overwhelmingly more powerful than mine. I've got 47 AV of weak quality forces, and he's got 143. Honestly, he should have come with a bit more here. Like he still has a very good chance of taking the place very quickly, and it's like at the end of my supply lines, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to reinforce, if at all. Probably not. I'm more thinking of potentially evacuating some forces with air. But anyways, yeah, it's. I think he made a mistake. I think he should have come with at least one more regiment here against these forces that I have. Even if he had perfect intelligence, which he didn't, unless he relied entirely on SIGINT. And he got lucky with some good hits there. But this seems like it's under. I was expecting to see him bring some more this turn. Anyways. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, he called my bluff here. Oh, and I didn't have even air support. Okay. I have a very weak force. And he has like basically all his units, and some of them are really good, like the American 4th Marine Regiment and 31st Infantry Regiments. Relative to the Filipinos, those are really powerful units. His tank battalions, at least, are heavily damaged from the Battle of Manila. But anyway, I'm gonna forward here. Fingers crossed. He should have shocked. Oh, I hold. I was heavily battered. He's heavily battered too, but obviously mine counts. Well, given the force ratio, yeah, I don't understand. Like he is very good at not shocking, but he also doesn't shock when he needs to shock. It's usually the opposite. Usually I'm always like thinking, why is my opponent shocking this much? He should not. But this one is the opposite. Yeah, almost. I don't think I've seen him shock often. I think I've seen him do it once or twice, and both times failed. Maybe he got scared off by that. But like in situations like this, it's either you shock or you don't. Like or you don't attack. Honestly, because well, he could have carried the day with deliberate attack. He definitely have taken the odds here with a shock attack. Anyways, I am moving forces here into this hex, which should arrive next turn and be able to lock things down. So the chances of him succeeding a second time here and pushing my forces out are much, much lower, but still has a chance. I'm so glad I survived this one at least. Let's see. Okay, here comes the attack on Nubium. This is one of those attacks where you should not shock, because the whole point here is you're trying to knock down the forts because you know I'm going to have forts. So shocking here would be having a terrible mistake. But the other one is my forces have arrived. I'm clearly trying to reinforce them. If he's going to try to push me out while he still can, he needs to put all his eggs in that basket. Oh wow. Okay, that's an excellent result for me. Those forts really helped. I took some damage here, and obviously I can't replace those units like he can, given his bigger force. But that's very good. That buys me time, and his forces are going to be disrupted, given their failed attack. So, yeah, I mean that's opens some options potentially. I'll have to think about it, but that's potentially good news. And he's going to be concerned because he doesn't know where my KV is. He knew from his SIGINTs probably, and just like from his recon and stuff that my KV wasn't around in the South Pacific, but he doesn't know how long his window is here. Okay, so that's good news on both Clark and Numia. Makes up for the loss of that tanker, and what else went badly? Not something else went badly. Oh, the small Japanese destroyer that got intercepted by light cruiser Cape Town. Uh, so far, this is a good turn for the Japanese. I have to see the air losses, see how that wins. But so far, it's a good turn. 27th Division. Yeah, he is definitely reinforcing India very, very quickly. He's doing the right thing. He didn't lose his cool. He stayed calm. Faded in February 1st. He did what he needed to do, slowed me down as much as possible, brought up reinforcements. Um, so yeah, kudos to him. He's a very good player. So right now we're stretched from here all the way here in a line where I'm stretching him, thinking I can stretch him enough to eventually create a weak point where I can overwhelm that weak point. But so far he's been bringing up reinforcements from the United States um, as fast as I've been able to spread his forces and attempt to create weak lines. But hopefully soon. He's counterattacking here. I just moved my units into Romkai. He's pushing it out. It's just a reconnaissance armored company, so no big loss there. But that's smart of him to push it out. Got 8 destroyed vehicles. And that's the end of the land combat phase. Okay, that was a pretty exciting turn. Pretty happy. Well, kicking myself for allowing giving him that opportunity to do some real damage at Clark. But grateful that it didn't work out, and pretty happy about Lumiel, and pretty happy about the air results. I think it's going to be good. I think at least equal losses overall for both of us, um, which I would take as a victory, given that I'm knocking out his pilots over my lines, um, and he has weaker numbers and all that, and I'm in a very disadvantageous position with an ALR cap going up against sweeps. But let's see if that's actually the case. Let's see if it's, or if I'm misreading it. I think it's about equal losses. Okay, well, let's start with that. Let's start with the. Okay, that looks very good. It looks very good. So ship losses. Let's turn the Ondo 13 knots max speed. It's the one of the less valuable AOs, but still very valuable. I think it's 18 points. Is it? Yes, 18 points. So obviously a feather on his cap, on my opponent's cap. This one is a sunk cost. I mean, I knew it was gone. So since it had like 80 floats damage, vast majority of its majors. That's in Fiji. There's no shipyard there. It was going to be lost eventually anyway, so no problem there. And then of course I sunk the cruiser miner or Glala. So that's going to slow him down with regards to mines and a small AP here. Probably going to lose that tiny destroyer as well. Let's see. It's class, is it? Okay, this is it. See if it's yeah, kamikaze class. Fire 62, system damage 63. Unlikely to survive, but it's one of the least valuable Japanese destroyers. It's not a big problem. And yeah, so I'm spreading my submarines here, and wonder where his. Okay. Anywho, so oh sorry, I got sidetracked. We were checking out the intel losses. 36 knocked out, air to air, 28. So I lost. This is the B-17 strikes. So I lost 36 aircraft in the air. I don't know how many of them find. Okay, so let's start with my losses. 23 Oscars and 10 zeros. 2 bats on the ground, one as an up, one sally as an up, and one betsy as an up. Okay, that's 33 fighters that I lost in that engagement. And the allies have lost. This is an exaggeration. It was 18 SPD 2 Dauntlesses. And these are about right. So, yeah. Yeah, so these are about right. I think it's probably more 4 Hudsons than 5. But anyway, so let's say about 18 Dauntlesses, about 4 Hudsons. That's the B-17 that was lost to flak. That's the PBY that was lost to ops. And then fighters-wise, we have anywhere from 20 to 23 or something like that fighters. So essentially, I lost 3 fighters for every 2 fighters that he lost. But I made up for that by knocking out 18 Dauntlesses and 4 Hudsons. That's a victory in my book. Not a major victory, but a victory in my book, especially given the how many pilots did I lose? Let's see. Okay, 11 KIA pilots and 13 wounded. So given that I lost 38 losses, losing 11 pilots KIA is not bad. I'll have to check tracker and do some calculations, see how many of those are excellence pilots. But yeah, okay, so two aces were made, and given that I lost 23, what was it, 23? Yeah, 23 Oscars. Very few of these Oscar pilots were actually aces, so I might have even made more aces than I lost in that 11. I'll have to check again, but yeah, I'm pleased. I am actually pleased. I think judging from my previous experience, his Hurricane 2As had his very good pilots in Hurricane 2As. They outperformed his Hurricane 2Bs, and I personally prefer the Hurricane 2As, even though they're earlier version. They just have better stats overall, except for firepower. And honestly, 8 machine guns, light machine guns, is more than enough against Japanese aircraft. You don't. That 12 is just overkill. Okay, so that's the status here. Just moving around forces. I think he's gonna move back. This is probably the 7th Armored Brigade. I noticed it wasn't here, and I think he's trying to rush for. He's still bringing forces here. I believe he's gonna try to rush forces to Nashpur. But Nashpur is clear terrain. That's one thing. I am this time bringing in artillery and more forces, and hopefully we'll bring in some additional forces, and I will be able to have a fight that is to my advantage in Nagpur. We'll see. Madras is locked in, except for this hex. So it's a river hex. So that's good. Okay, it's got a lot of forces there bottled up. And China moving in to attack Chongqing should be very soon. And Maya is Maya. Okay, so this turn has lasted long enough. Thank you guys for watching. Exciting turn, and I'll see you guys next time.